Alright guys, this is our test review for Unit 3, for your Unit 3 exam. This is a big unit, so we got a lot to talk about. First thing we talked about, guys, was finding the slope between 2 points. Okay, again, the slope formula is the change in y over the change in x, or what we call rise over run. So the way I'm going to solve this slope formula is I need to label one of my points point 1 and one of them point 2. This would be the x1 and the y1 value. That's point 1. Again, it's a coordinate, so it's an x and a y. This would be x2, y2. Alright, now I'm going to plug into this formula. So y2 in this case is 4. That's going to go right there. So 4 minus y1, which is 3, over the change in x's, which is x2, 3, minus x1, which is also 3. On the top you got 4 minus 3, that's 1. On the bottom you got 3 minus 3, that's 0. Anything divided by 0 is undefined. There is no such thing. You cannot divide by 0 in math. So your slope is undefined for number 5. That would look like a vertical line if you were to graph that. Number 6, same thing. Here's x1, y1. Here's x2, y2. So you've got a negative 3 minus 12 over x2, negative 3 minus negative 8. Alright, so now again, whenever you have two negatives beside each other, you can change. Okay, you can change on the bottom here, so it's minus negative 8, so it's plus 8 now. So you have a positive 8 minus 3, that's going to give you 5 on the bottom. On the top, you've got a negative 3 minus 12, so negative 3 plus a negative 12, so it's a negative 15. Negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. So your slope is negative 3. You could say over 1 if you wanted to. You don't have to. Number 7, same thing. This is y2, negative 5, minus y1, which is 2, over negative 1 minus negative 3. Once again, you can change on the bottom. So it's a positive 3 minus 1. That gives you 2. And then on the top, you've got negative 5 plus negative 2, which is a negative 7. So your slope is negative 7 over 2. We looked at horizontal and vertical lines. Okay, horizontal and vertical lines. Any vertical line has a undefined slope. So your m, which is the variable that represents slope, is undefined. Undefined. Okay, we also know that any undefined slope, is going to have the equation x equals a number. X equals a number, because no matter what y value I give you, x is going to be whatever number this is. So we went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a point right here at 5, 0. We also have a point up here at 5, 5. We have a point down here at negative 5, 5. Sorry, 5 negative 5, excuse me. 5, negative 5. Okay, your x value is equal to 5. I don't care what the y value is. I could have as many points on this line as I want. The x value is always going to be 5. So x equals 5. Undefined slope, x equals a number wherever the line is. The complete opposite for a horizontal line. A horizontal line has a slope of 0. You can walk on a horizontal line. You cannot walk on a vertical line. This is undefined. You will fall off and you will die if you try to walk on that. Okay, now, if this is x equals a number, the reverse is true. This is going to be y equals a number. Because no matter what point I pick, y is going to be the same number. So in this case, this is the point 0, 2. I went over 0, I went up 2. Okay, well this point right here is at 5, 2. This point right here is at negative 5, 2. I don't care what the x value is. What's the y value? Y is equal to 2. So a 0 slope has a y equals a number. An undefined slope is x equals a number. So once again, we have an undefined slope because it's a vertical line. So your slope is undefined. Okay, and then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So x equals negative 4. Number 11, it says, what's the slope of the line whose equation is y equals 5? Once again, any y equals a number, the slope is 0. What that would look like is y equals 5 would be a horizontal line at 5. Number 12 says, what's the equation of a line whose slope is undefined? Okay, again, undefined slopes have x equals a number, and it passes through the point 6, negative 7. Well, what's the x value at that point? The x value is 6, so x equals 6. Moving on. It says, given the slope-intercept form of a linear equation, identify the slope and the y-intercept. Again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. This is your slope. This is your y-intercept. So it's already in slope-intercept form. So m is the number in front of your x, which is your slope. So here's your slope, negative 1/5. Then your b is your number after the x, so negative 2. So we're graphing the y-intercept, which is at 0, negative 2. So I go over 0, go down 2. And now from there I'm going to go down 1, rise over run. So down 1 over 5. So from here, down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it again, down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now connect your points. There's your line. Number 14, same thing. The m is the number in front of your slope, which is 3/2. So we're rising 3, we're running 2. The y-intercept is the number after the x, so it's a positive 4. So again, we're starting at the y-intercept, which is 0, whatever number that is. So I'm going to go over 0. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, plot that point. From there, I'm going to take my slope, which is rise over run. So rise 1, 2, 3, run 1, 2. I can do it again, rise 1, 2, 3, run 1, 2. There's your line. Sorry, I'm not an artist. Alright, so number 15, it says, given the standard form of a linear equation, convert to slope-intercept form. Well, what is that slope-intercept form? Again, slope-intercept form is where we solved for y. Y is by itself. Y equals mx plus b. So what I need to do is I need to solve for y. So right now you've got a 2x with the y. So I need to isolate for that 3y right there. I need to move the 2x. Okay, again, the way I move something in math is to do inverse operations. So right now I have a positive 2x. I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. That goes away. You've got 3y equals negative 2x plus 12. The last step is I want the y by itself. This is 3 times y. The opposite of times is to divide. So divide by 3 on both sides. So I get the equation y equals negative 2/3 x plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. Alright, so now I'm back up here. Same exact thing, right? I've got it in slope-intercept form. I've got y equals mx plus b. I've got it right here. Y equals mx plus b. So let's identify what m and b are. M is the number in front of your x, which is a negative 2/3. And then b is positive 4, which is the point 0, 4. So go over 0, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, plot that point. From there, look at your slope. So we're going to go down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. And there's your line. Same thing for number 16. I want to solve for y. So I need to move the 4x. Right now it's a positive 4x, so you have $4. You need to subtract $4 to do the opposite. So subtract 4x on both sides. You've got negative y equals negative 4x plus 3. The last step is to get the y by itself, so I need to get rid of this negative 1. So basically you're dividing by a negative 1. So all you're doing is you're changing all your signs. So this becomes a positive y equals negative negative becomes a positive 4x and then a minus 3. Alright, so now I have this slope, which is the number in front of the x, which is 4. That's 4 over 1 if you want to write it like that. And then your y-intercept is a negative 3. 0, negative 3. So again, start your first point is your y-intercept, so go down 3. From there, rise over run, so up 4 over 1. Up 4 over 1. There's your line. Moving on, it says write the equation in point slope form of the line with the given slope that contains the point. So in point slope form means the y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. So I'm given my slope, and I'm given a point. Okay, again, m right there is going to go in place of that. This is going to be your x1. This is your x value. This is going to be your y1. That's going to go in place of the x1 and the y1. So let's rewrite this, plugging those numbers in. I've got y minus y1, which is 5, is equal to m, negative 1/4, parentheses, x minus the x value, negative 12. So once again, I got minus and negative. I can change inside the parentheses. So let's rewrite this as y minus 5 equals negative 1/4 x plus 12. Now to convert to slope-intercept, the first step is to distribute the slope. Second step is to solve for y. So the first step, distribute the slope, so the 1/4 times the x and the 1/4 times the positive 12. So you get y minus 5 equals negative 1/4 x minus 3. Last step, we're going to solve for y, so I need to move this minus 5, so let's add 5 to both sides. That goes away, you get y equals negative 1/4 x plus 2. Now, how do I know I'm done? Because the y is by itself, y equals. And again, we're trying to convert to slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Number 18, the same thing. I'm going to go y minus y1, which is the y value at my point. So y minus negative 6 equals m3 x minus the x value, x minus 0. Again, change here. So you got y plus 6 equals, we're going to distribute our slope. First step, distribute the slope. So I've got 3 times x is 3x. 3 times a negative 0 is 0. So I don't have to write anything. You could write plus 0 if you wanted. The last step, solve for y. So I need to get rid of this plus 6, subtract 6 on both sides. That goes away, you get y equals 3x minus 6. And again, we know we're done because the y is by itself. Y equals mx plus b. 19 and 20 are the same thing, except now you're going to find your slope, and then we're going to do the exact same thing we did here. So again, to find my slope, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here's y2, 8, minus y1, which is 5, over x2, which is 8, minus x1, which is a negative 4. So on top you got 8 minus 5, that's 3. On the bottom you can change here, and you got 8 plus 4, which is 12. That reduces to 1/4. What did we just find? We just found that m, the slope, is equal to 1/4. So now we have a point. Either one of those works. We have the slope. We can plug into point slope form, which again is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So here we go. I'm just going to take 8, doesn't matter. I've got y minus 8 equals m, 1/4 x minus 8. So to convert to slope-intercept, first step, distribute the slope. So I'm going to go 1/4 times x and then 1/4 times the negative 8. Y minus 8 equals 1/4 x minus 2. Last step, solve for y. So get rid of this minus 8. The inverse of that is to add 8 to both sides, and you get y equals 1/4 x plus 6. Same thing for number 20. I'm going to solve for m. I'm going to solve for my slope. So 9 minus negative 1 over negative 12 minus 3. So on top you can change. You got 10. On the bottom you got a negative 15. That reduces to a negative 2/3. Again, we just found m. So I've got y minus, I'll just take this point, doesn't matter. So y minus the y value. I'm plugging into point slope form. So y minus 9 is equal to m, I found was a negative 2/3, x minus negative 12. So we got y minus 9 equals, again we can change here to make it a positive. I'm going to distribute my slope, negative 2/3 x, and I've got a negative 2/3 times a positive 12. Okay, a negative 2/3 times a positive 12, that's going to give me a negative 8. Last step, solve for y, so add 9 to both sides. That cancels out, you get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. Two more, it says writing equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, again, parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have the opposite. Sorry, you can't see that. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have the opposite reciprocal. Alright, it says write an equation in point slope form of an equation that is parallel to the given line. So I need the same slope. So looking at this has a slope of 1/3. So you know in your line you have to have a slope of 1/3. So we have the slope, we have a point. Let's plug in a point slope form, which we were just doing. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So I've got y minus y1, which is 3. So y minus 3 equals m. Same slope because I want a parallel line. So 1/3 x minus 9. Again, we want to convert to slope-intercept. First step, distribute the slope. So the 1/3 goes to the x and to the negative 9. Y minus 3 equals 1/3 x minus 3. Last step, solve for y. So get rid of this minus 3. That means to add 3 to both sides. Y equals 1/3 x. And then that would be 0. So you could write plus 0 if you wanted. You don't have to. That's good enough right there. Same thing for number 22, except I need to put it in y equals mx plus b form. I need to solve for y because it's not in slope-intercept form, so you have no idea what your slope is. So let's subtract 3x. Again, we're solving for y. That goes away. You get negative 5y equals negative 3x plus 10. Last step is to get y by itself, so divide by a negative 5. So I get y equals positive 3/5 x minus 2. Again, why did I do that? I needed the slope. I have a point, 15.2. I need the slope to be able to plug into point slope form. Well, now I have it, right? So I've got y minus y1, which is 2. Y minus 2 equals m, 3/5 x minus 15. Now, again, we want to convert to slope-intercept form, so let's distribute the slope. I've got y minus 2 is equal to 3/5 x minus 9. Last step, get the y by itself, so we're going to add 2 to both sides. Y equals 3/5 x minus 7. So parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have the opposite reciprocal slopes. So what that would look like is if you had a slope of 3, opposite means to change the sign. Reciprocal means to flip the fraction. Right? So if I had a slope of 3, my perpendicular slope would then be a opposite, negative, reciprocal 1/3. Okay, so again, two things have to happen for there to be a perpendicular slope. Opposite, reciprocal. Opposite means to change the sign. Reciprocal means to flip the fraction. Parallel lines have the same slope.